Yeah,
in.
very
Adam,
interesting. Yeah,
it is, right? I mean, everybody has so many stories to tell. It's just
yeah,
that we don't know about these stories only. So let's find out more about your
yes,
story. So let's begin from the very
certainly.
beginning. Tell me more about your growing up
Yes.
years, Adam. What were they like?
Well, being twin brothers, so we get a lot of attention from our siblings and my parents. So, and of course, being twin, we I tends we are the youngest in the family, so we got a lot of pampering from our elder siblings of five brothers and two sisters. So including my parents, my dad was an army officer who doesn't who is not illiterate at that time, and my mom is actually a seamstress. So, given that environment in a small house with so many people, my dad always think of things to keep us occupied. So he would start drawing and teaching us how to draw cars. That's what he knows. So we got inspired to draw cars, and also eventually all my brothers who had become very accomplished artists on their own merit, and they didn't go for any training. We were also inspired by them and start to learn how to draw. So these were the childhood days. And at that time, we were staying in one small little unit. I think about like a two-room flat. And imagine you have eight, about nine people in the family, living in that room. There was so much fun. We tend to even sleep along the corridor and then start to make friends with the neighbor kids, and uh, we had, we even had a very good time playing soccer on the on the corridor, and even play some games, on the staircase. We were very proud during our childhood was because we tend to be like the leaders because we can draw. So we tend to draw comics also to entertain the rest of the kids. And it become a regular weekly session where I end up being a storyteller, showing the pictures and explaining to them the story. My earliest memory was, because Shaolin martial art was very popular in the movie theaters, so we also draw something like that. And each of the character, we will always pretend say that, hey, the neighboring kid would be one character, and then the other one is from the other neighbor, and we times say, okay, you'll be the second character, and that's why it kept them coming back for more every weekend when we meet at the corridor. So that's really the fun part of my childhood, and with the help of my elder brother who taught us to draw, and the encouragement from my dad who even bought a whiteboard, because he was so worried we might scribble on the wall. So at that time, when we were like 12 years old, 13 years old, he would teach us how to use the whiteboard to draw, and even show us pictures of the cars that he drew, diagram, more of a diagram rather than the actual drawing of a car. But then, a hunger to draw more, so we decided to venture into drawing even characters and animals. So pretty interesting
Yeah, so it sounds
childhood.
like this talent for
So
yeah, so it sounds like this talent for illustration really runs in your family. It's in your blood and DNA, right?
I would say so because it all started from my dad and then my brothers, and finally it
Yeah.
came to us,
Yes.
and even my son also. Right now,
Ah, your son
yeah, his name
also.
is
Ah,
Edison Chua. He can
wonderful.
draw very well, and just that
Wow. It's a
hesitant.
wonderful skill, isn't it? I mean, to be able to draw well, because it's something that, I mean, it's value as in it has commercial value, I suppose, right? Definitely for sure. And also it's something that it's a healthy preoccupation of time, right? If you love drawing, it's a wonderful way to spend your time. Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
It's therapeutic, I must say. Yes, it's therapeutic. Just as akin that rather than smoking or drinking, this is a very good hobby. To For us, it's therapeutic. When you're under stress, you draw. Even you're not,
Mm.
you're happy, you draw. And I must say that it also brings us a lot of opportunities.
Uh,
In my work. As a
right.
cabin crew, when I was flying, I was even
Mm.
assigned to even draw for the training manuals, and then
Wow.
to and even assigned to do the video production because they giving me the opportunity to teach me how to do video editing. And today
Mm.
I'm an accomplished video editor as well. So
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
those even in the
Great.
army days, when I was supposed to be trained during the basic military training,
Mm.
they even asked me to draw charts for the rifle and for the rifle that we are holding during training. So those were the time
Mm.
really uh, give me good opportunities. Even as a provost military policeman after my BMT, I was
Mm.
assigned to the carpentry department to help plan for all those media content that involve illustration.
Nice. Okay.
So that's
It's a
why
talent that can
it's
be applied in many sort of arenas and aspects, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the business I'm doing, like skincare
Mm.
business,
Yeah.
which we run MySkin. The
Mm.
advantage is that I'm able to even draw the customer face instantly,
Uh,
and they are always very captivated that how come I can draw their face with lightness and yet identify the problem on the skin and highlight the problem on the illustrated face. Yeah.
and this is all
So these are
self-taught.
things that all these are self-taught because during my time to get into
Mm.
Baharudin, the only art school available at that time, you
Mm.
need an art credential, but I'm not. I was actually more in the technical side. Even when I became an electronic engineer, I didn't regret because why? If I can draw, maybe I should study something else and combine these skills into one assignment or project that I'm doing.
Yes,
For example, if
absolutely.
I were to draw a printed circuit board, to me it's so easy.
Mm.
Yeah, to others it might be very graphical. Yeah, that's right.
Wonderful. Yeah, so you have both. Now I'm officially envious of you.
Yeah,
I'm sure lots and lots of hard work, right? It sounds simple, but it takes yes, uh, a lot of practice. A lot of practice. First of all, and part of it is natural, right? It came from your dad or your dad's dad or whatever, right? And then another part of it comes from very early childhood sort of training, right? So you grew up in the environment. Your brothers were into it as well, so you're always immersed in art. Um, and obviously, your dad, being a mechanic with the SAF, also had that technical ability, right?
yes, yes, you're right.
Okay,
Actually, in fact, we are even
and
using both
yeah,
sides. One has to be on the
mm,
creative side, thinking out of the box. The other one has to conform to requirement that is all fixed. Like in terms of dimension, it's all fixed when it comes to illustration. But when in terms of bringing joy and laughter or adding life to that illustration or diagram,
mm,
you have to think other way and you have to feel how
mm,
people will react to your illustration. So there's really two different things. One is to show them the parameters and the dimension. The other one is to bring out that life into that diagram and make people see it. So it's really left and right brain. You're right. Yeah.
okay.
It needs training. At first, yeah,
Okay,
lots of hard work and lots of
right. Okay.
yeah,
So that's
up and
pretty
downs.
interesting
Then you
because you
experience.
studied in electrical engineering.
Correct.
You were an
Yeah.
electrical engineer for a time before
Yeah.
you switched to skincare.
Correct.
Was it a very sudden sort of switch?
In fact, right after my army, I was into skincare, lah, So yeah, and then there was this mentor Stephen Chia actually who wrote me in and says that um, why not you help out in the salon as a male
Oh, I see.
esthetician, which is very rare at
Oh,
that
right,
time.
right.
Probably male beauticians are
Yeah,
so
yeah,
called,
yeah.
but we label ourselves as estheticians, so you look more masculine than feminine. And it was during that time I realized that art combined with
Oh, wow. Okay.
whatever you
Very
do can
handy.
actually enhance
Mm-mm.
or make your job even more
Mm-mm.
attractive
Mm.
for people to pay attention to. Yeah.
And so, yeah, you mentioned about how, okay, so you were an electronic engineer until someone mentioned, why don't you go into skincare? So, I mean, how did you make that decision?
I was at first didn't even think about whether that would be possible, but just
Okay.
my brain just
Okay.
switched. Maybe because of my uh,
Okay. So quite young.
drawing
Okay.
ability, that I'm able to. go into the artistic side. And then I was
Mm-hmm.
surprised beauty during skincare or during treatment or beauty industry, um,
Okay.
though it involves holistic and aesthetic, but there is also a parameter in the fact that we are using technology, skincare technology. So there is an engineering side to me that when the equipment fails, I repair it. Until to the point, even our neighboring shop who runs a beauty salon will come over and say, Adam, are you free? Can come over and repair my steamer or my high frequency machine. So instead of waiting for the technician to come, that takes 2 days, you have a resource that could help you to really solve the solution within 3 hours or so. So that's why start to realize, yeah, it's kind of a handy skill we have.
Yeah, you mentioned about how, okay, so you were an electronic engineer until someone mentioned, why don't you go into skincare?
Yeah,
So,
that's
I
right.
mean, how did you make that decision?
You see, it was like one day I had very bad skin problem myself at the age of
Okay.
18 or 19 at the time.
Okay. So quite
And
young. Okay.
I went to this salon called Faceline, and it was operated by Steven Chia.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went there, he
Okay.
saw me taking up. I wasn't rich at that time. To pay $25 for a treatment, he saw me like taking up dollars and coins to make the payment. He told me, said, I can help you in your skin. Why don't you just work for me? But then in the end, he never even collected a single cent from me. And instead, he trained me to become an aesthetician. And with that knowledge, then I start to realize, with exposure, so art and art, engineering, aesthetic can all come together and make the best out of the job. And that's why this opportunity was given to me. And I really treasure those opportunities that he has groomed me into a really professional aesthetician. Till today, that we are proud that I started a new concept called MySkin.
Mm.
So that's how I started this
Yeah.
salon industry for engineering. Yeah,
And you were a male aesthetician at a time when it was quite uncommon, right, for men to be in this sort of
yeah. In
industry.
19
And
correct,
80s,
1985 I was 1985.
85.
Yeah,
And you
it
also
was only
worked
in
on
19.
men's and you also worked on men's skin, which was also at that time very revolutionary, isn't it? Because people think
Of course,
skincare, they think women.
it's a taboo. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah,
In fact, we
yeah.
have we have customer comes in with motorcycle helmet now and refuse to take it off until they come into our shop. That means they will wear this motorcycle helmet all the way into the
Oh,
reception and
wow.
sit down. Then they
Okay,
remove their
okay.
helmet because they don't
So,
want to be
so,
seen like a
yes, yes.
taboo. A man going into a beauty salon, but it's not really a beauty salon. That's the reason why we always have words that we use very carefully in our business at that time was to make sure it's called a skincare center. We are not
Mm,
beauticians, we are aestheticians.
mm,
This mindset will be able to help them to feel more comfortable. Because in
mm,
actual fact, a beautician is just a name, but what you're doing
mm,
is still very technical and still providing solutions for skin problem. So I always see it as a only kind of a scientific solution before even medical aesthetics come into the picture during the 1980s and the early 1990s.
mm, mm. Okay. And then you joined SIA as cabin crew. How did
Yeah,
that?
and then in okay, so I was like being trained as a statistician, and then
Mm,
one day there was an opportunity for me to become a cabin crew with Singapore Airlines. So I spoke to Steven. Steven said that no, you choose what you think you want your path. So he was very kind. He told me, say, go ahead and fly. While during my off days, I would come down and help him at the shop at the same time.
mm,
Yeah, so it was then in 1992 when I'm still flying, and
mm,
Steven opened, in fact, outlet in the east for men's
mm,
skincare, and it was
mm,
called Face of Man, where both of us
mm,
actually think of that word Face of Man when we were overseas in
mm,
Sydney. We saw this studio also called Face of Man, so that strikes us the chord that maybe we should call it Face of Man. And then I
mm,
bought over the unit from him, which he told me that. I could be able to make it with my attitude and the existing skills that I have. So he was very kind. He let me have that unit. And from then on, I that's how I rope in my brother, who is also a cabin crew. His name is Chua, to be the co-owner. At first,
Mm,
he was employed, because
mm,
someone have to work, someone have to fly and pay for the rent in case if the business don't work. So I continue flying.
right.
But after about a
Mm-hmm.
year, when the business picks up and the demand went up, he needed help because as a lone esthetician, he could not cope. So
Mm.
I came down and then I said, okay, as agreed, this business is running very well, so I can now quit and help in the work. So that's how we started Face of Man in 1992. Yeah, but it was
Yeah, and this
much earlier in 1991. Yeah,
yeah, and this worked out very, very well, right? I mean, it did very well for over 20, or you at least you ran it for at least over 20 years. So that's a very long time
yeah, I
for
would
any
say it's
sort of
about
business,
29
right?
years. Yeah,
Yeah,
29 years now. That's
yeah,
right.
and can you imagine how popular it was? Because it was quite pioneering at the time, isn't it? I mean, it was the first,
Exactly.
probably, right? The first all male
Correct.
concept skincare for men back at the time,
Correct.
early
Correct.
90s.
Yeah, I think we were even the
Yeah.
first to started a website for a salon to highlight what we are
Right.
doing because we are so tech
Okay.
savvy. So
Okay.
among the women industry, we went ahead to do a website also. It become like a brochure, online brochure at the time.
Okay.
And I
So
must
I
say
mean, there
that
must
right
be
now,
so much.
yes,
Yeah, right now, right now. Go ahead, go ahead.
right
Mm.
now, actually, we started a new concept called MySkin, which is a
Mm-hmm.
spin-off from Face of Man, making it it's like a thank you to all our customers for their support. Because we know in the
Mm.
new challenging period, people's pocket are quite tight. So we make it affordable, yet we bring the equipment newer and better at the same time. By being the distributor, you can bring the cost lower. So that's how we
Mm.
started this new skincare concept. Fixed
Okay.
affordable pricing, things like that, with
Right.
very good customer service. Very, very good
And you
customer.
mentioned that Face of Man is still operational, still operating.
Yeah, it's still operational. It's
Oh,
managed
I
by my
see.
wife
Okay, okay.
and,
So
and
that
my
tell me
brother.
more about that story, right? Yeah. Then how did what happened to when I mean your wife stepped in to become a partner after something some issues with your partners, right? So I mean, what was that story like?
Oh, actually,
Or
because of differences, the way we operate Face of Man, it was like
you're talking
there
about
were
your
differences
brothers
in
and
the.
Stephen and all that, or what?
No, no, no. Okay.
No.
How
Oh,
it started when Steven was because who is my mentor.
oh, okay.
He gave me the opportunity to start Face of Man. Then
Mm.
I make my brother co-owner in
Mm, mm, mm,
1992.
mm-hmm.
And then later on in 2003, we have another partner, uh,
Mm,
which is my
mm,
classmate who joined us. And after that, we decided to franchise. We wanted to do unisex, but it was not very successful switch because
mm.
we feel that going back to men's skincare is still better because when you do something that is of a different concept,
Yes.
it creates confusion.
Yeah.
So eventually the partners all agreed and then we revert back to men's skincare and that was
Mm,
in
mm,
I think 2010.
mm,
Eventually I said that okay, I've done uh, more than enough of the skincare. So my brother and James took over. I mean, my brother
mm.
and the other partner took over to run the
Sure.
business,
Right.
while I would just concentrate on my art. So it's only
Yeah.
in 2017 then my wife came into the picture to take over
Yeah.
my role so that it could free me from the responsibility to do what I like to do, my
Yes.
second passion from treating faces to drawing faces. So, so I became a
Exactly.
caricature artist. Yeah.
And even leading faces on a tour. Right.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm also a licensed tour guide because during that period when I was away from the salon business, I
Yeah.
studied. I went to a course to keep myself well equipped because I want to be a tour guide as well. Maybe because
Yeah.
when I left the airline, I still want to stay in touch with foreign guests, so that's why I
Mm.
became a tour guide. And yeah, two out of 20, about 3% of the 24 classmates passed. So I consider myself very, very lucky. Very
Yes, very
lucky.
nice. So that
Yeah.
means in 2017 roundabouts or about that period, you were able to, in a way, become a sleeping sort of partner in a way in that business phase of man, and then to pursue your own personal interests, which is uh, art and guiding, tour
And tourism.
guiding
Tourism. Actually, I
and
started a tour
tourism.
agency so as well. Art and
Oh,
tour
wow.
agency.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Okay. So tell me more about that chapter of your life then.
Oh well, when it come to doing caricature and tour agency was
Mm,
really a very fun kind of job as compared to doing skincare. Because skincare, you need to be very serious in what you do. There are parameters you have to follow. But the joy also come from doing skincare. Of course, is see the results for the customers' uh, expression that they see the skin has improved. These are really also satisfaction. Then the satisfaction from art is that you see instant gratification in the sense that when you draw them, they laugh. Then you start to realize that art,
mm,
in terms of caricature, is in fact
mm.
not just a gift, but also an entertainment that is a comic relief for them to laugh. So that's why
No.
we manage to capture all these moments where people are laughing at our artwork, and we start to tease
Mm,
them tactfully. So it's a
mm.
joy. Whenever I go to work, it's like I'm going on flight again. It's like there to tease and
Yeah.
make people laugh. So I always look forward to that. And all my agencies realize that I have a knack for teasing people and make them laugh. So that's why I was
Okay.
given more opportunities to do such job, which eventually we
Yeah.
have to get more artists to join us because the job demand went up. And then being a tour
Mm.
guide also is fun because if you have the ability to draw when they are having lunch, you can
Oh
just take
yeah.
out your paper and pen, not much to hold,
Mm,
and then you start drawing
mm.
them while they're eating. All you need to do is look at them only for 30 seconds, their face, and then we will capture it in our mind and we start doodling.
Wow.
At the end of the tour,
That
each
is
has a
amazing.
caricature. Yeah, for free. There's no charge at all. Just part of my way of entertaining my foreign guests on my tours.
Fascinating. You mentioned earlier about a
Yes,
gift for caricature, right? And I've
yes.
always wondered how it's done because it just
Okay.
seems like such an impossible sort of thing to do, to capture the essence of a person's face on a drawing, and yet it's not exactly the same, correct? I mean,
Yes,
it's in a way, yeah, it's a different style, even almost making the person's face like a character or a comic or a cartoon almost, but still retaining the person's essence of the face such that you can recognize the person. So how is this?
correct.
How do you do this? Plus, you mentioned 30 seconds. You look at the person's face, and then you're able to draw. So
Okay.
all of this self-taught. Yeah.
Yeah, all these are self-taught. And I realized
Yeah.
even without the book, you come up with your own theory. That there are
Oh.
four things you just need to follow when you draw caricatures, and we conduct them as workshop for Google
Oh.
APEC, the whole of Google APEC,
Okay.
almost worldwide, Zoom
Oh.
online. We start to realize that
Okay.
actually to learn how to draw caricature, there's only four things you need to think about. It's SHIP, like a sailing ship.
Mm,
With S
mm, mm.
stands for the shape of the face, which we need to identify first, and H stands for the hairstyle and hair volume, because that makes up 30% of the likeness of the person. And I stands for identify any distinct feature, like if the person have a mustache, have a glasses, big nose, big ears, things that you can exaggerate. And then P stands for positioning the triangle. We wanted to use the word T to stand for triangle, but then the abbreviation sounds very polite. So we decided to use
Yes.
P, position the triangle. And that triangle is actually 3 points on our face, the outer corner of each
Mm,
eyes and the nose, they form a triangle. So how high the triangle
mm.
is the height of the nose. How wide the triangle is the width of the eye from each other. That's the reason why when artists draw someone, they ask them to sit in front, they take a pencil and do the triangulation. It's trying to pinpoint the height of the nose
Yeah.
in relation to the width of the eyes. So that's how we got the theory. And it was quite funny when we mentioned triangle and versus position the
Mm.
triangle. So everyone can remember
Yeah.
that word. Yeah, and then eventually, yeah. So this picks up with our own principle of caricature, And
Okay.
that's how we do it fast.
So, of course, over the past 2 years, you've not been able to do the tour guide thing um, at all
Yes.
or very much.
No, I tell you, it's
Not at all, huh?
almost like only did one over
Yeah.
the 2 years,
Mm,
and this one
mm,
garden is not easy. It's not easy at all because of the
mm.
restriction of the number of people. Sometimes you may end up repeating 5 times for a group of five
Right.
people during the time when they allowed 5 people. Yeah. Then we have a
So
total of
you've been
25 guests.
concentrate. Okay, so you've been concentrating on your art and caricature. So tell me more about what you've been doing. I mean, how does this work? So you have a spot somewhere, or you kind of like wander the island, or where do you go? What do you how do you carry out these
Sure.
caricature drawings?
We have two studios for now,
Ah, okay, you have.
one in the West Coast
Mm,
and one in the East Coast. So uh, we we are very fortunate because before the COVID-19, in somewhere 2014, we already embarked on digital drawing using tablets, using drawing screen,
mm,
and this allowed us to still deliver the artwork via digital means for people, for corporate company who wanted a farewell gift,
mm, mm,
for big MNC who wants comics for their illustration.
mm.
So yeah, this period during the COVID-19, when we embrace everything digital, we are still able to do even workshop or online caricatures for events that's held remotely. So for example, if someone have a party there, all they have to do is just look at the camera, and then we are online, we capture their face, and then the next person come in and we start to capture all the guest face, and then we will draw it at the back end, and within 2 hours we deliver the job via email. So in the past, we tend to move around a lot,
Mm, mm,
hopping from one place to another. But we have a studio is where we keep all our supplies, our art supplies, all the things that we need for events. Sometimes we need to even draw on uh, keychain, which there's a magical plastic that can string to a quarter of the size, and then we string with a keychain to make a caricature keychain. I'm sorry, a
uh,
keychain caricature.
yeah.
And they also draw on mugs, which we sometimes will draw on these mugs and make it as a door gift. So before COVID-19, we were very happy because it was like we go on site, we start to see the guests smiling
Mm,
live in front of you, very
mm,
happy with their gift. And
mm,
yeah, these were the moments we, all our artists actually miss those moments. But then when we go into digital, now we are still able to see them with the help of the platform, video platform. So yeah, we're
mm.
still able to hear and see them. So it was kind of still something we can still feel the joy of drawing and entertain people as well.
Okay.
So that's how we have transit from on-site to online.
Mm. And through your many life experiences, which are pretty diverse, right? From having that talent to draw when you're young and your brothers, dad, to electronic engineering, to skincare, to air crew, and a caricature. A lot of different things, right? Exactly. Yes. So throughout all these different experiences, right? I mean, you must. I mean, there must have been challenges, and you must have had tough times as well. So what have these experiences taught you?
These experiences has taught me that whatever you are given an opportunity to learn, I think you should go ahead and learn.
Mm,
Because when it comes to a crisis, like even when it comes to a crisis where certain industry cannot operate during those moments,
mm,
at least you have to fall back on other skills that you have.
mm, mm,
And even like myself, when I was flying in Singapore Airlines, um, I was supposed to I wanted to apply for a Japanese speaking crew status, but I need to attend the course.
mm,
But then because I'm not eligible, because they always pick the best uh, top few cabin crew who has no whose punctuality is very admirable.
mm,
So they will give them the opportunity to go first, which should be right.
mm,
But then I didn't had that. I missed out one flight once, and so I wasn't given the opportunity to study the
mm,
course. But thankfully, they allowed me to take the exam. So, but because I've learned Japanese during my army days, so
mm,
that's the reason why I was confident to take up the course. And then surprisingly, I passed with 70% above grade,
Oh, great.
and I was the first Japanese speaking cabin crew in Singapore Airlines.
Wow.
I was very proud at that time, holding a badge
Mm,
with the word Nihongo ga dekimasu means you can speak Japanese.
mm,
So that was a really, really very happy moment for me. That whatever I learned,
mm,
somehow or other you can apply and work.
mm,
So my I mean of all everything that I've gone through and whatever I learned, I realized that whenever you're given an opportunity you learn. Take the opportunity and learn. Even if it's something you think you don't like it, because when you really into it, you start to realize that hey, this is also quite interesting.
mm,
It's because sometimes we do not understand a certain set of skill that you want to learn.
mm.
You're not sure whether it's something you like or not. But I realize it's only when you're into it, then you start to realize what I perceive I was wrong. Like for example, tour guiding. I heard that it's a very very tough course, but someone told me say it's not tough. But eventually he admitted that it was tough, but he didn't want to tell me because he wanted me to take it because he think that I could make it.
Mhm,
But if he tell me say it's tough, I probably won't take it.
mhm,
So
mhm,
that was also a very good thing that some good friend of mine actually in the industry told me. It's not tough, and then you can pass.
mm.
But I went to it, it was not easy. So a lot of hard work involved. But eventually, I learned a lot.
Okay,
And I never regret. Even if I asked to go for a course that is so challenging, I will never regret taking again.
right. Okay, so seize every opportunity to learn something new. Okay.
Seize every opportunity, you learn something new. That's right.
Mm.
Yeah.
What else?
And make the best out of it
Okay.
in whatever job you do. Try and see whether those skills can apply
Mm,
in your job. Like for example, if I were to do tour guiding, I could apply my artistic skill to entertain people.
mhm,
I can apply my technical skill if the microphone in the car is not work in the bus or the coach is not working, because I always carry my mini tool set with me.
mm.
And things like that, it all helps, and it saves time and allow you to operate more efficiently with, with, without going through the difficulty of compromising with failed equipment
Mm,
or things that doesn't go your way.
okay.
But with your skills, you can overcome them. Like for example, there was one case an agency supposed to hold an event, and then he forgot the prizes that he left in the west, in his office in the west side of Singapore. But the event was held in the central area, and the event was already ongoing, but he forgot about the prizes. And then I was the coordinator at that time, helping him to coordinate some things. Then I told him, don't worry, I got some papers and pen in my car. We can give them as caricature gift. The winners can get caricature gift.
Mm, mhm,
And we think that was a good idea. And true enough, when the when they announced it that the prizes for the best kite making are these people, and then they sat in front of me, each one of them within 3 minutes get their gift instantly.
mm, mm,
That
mm.
saved the day,
Yeah, yeah, it's such a portable sort of
because
talent, right? You can bring it anywhere,
correct.
and it has
So
value to everyone. Yeah, yeah,
correct,
wonderful.
and
Okay,
the joy is that you can bring your
yeah,
skills to solve problems. I think that's
okay.
the more important part, is
So
it?
you've done so much already. What's next
Yeah.
for you?
Well, this, as I said, the final leg is I'm trying to look into a drawing cafeteria where I like to invite people to come to my cafeteria. The walls will be all illustrated, and then it's like you're stepping into a comic book. And then at the same time, we will hold like if when the situation improve during this period, and where they allow people more guests to come to the cafeteria, or where they allow mingling, then we can start. What I always wanted is to go around every table, get our artists to draw their faces. So every guest get a caricature, and every Sunday we will hold a free family art workshop in the morning, so that parents can bring their children and they can draw and learn art skill together. And then in the evening, we will probably get some tour guides to come in and share with them about their things that they know about Singapore, those hidden secrets of Singapore, and things like that. So that's my dream, what I call a drawing cafe.
Okay, wonderful. And we're done. Thanks so much,
Yeah.
Adam.
Yes. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
okay.
Eugene.